Welcome back to another episode of The Bark. I'm Matthew Hoffman.
And I'm Ryan Eggert. We have a jam-packed college basketball show for you today. Let's start off with the Big Ten and our Nixon Blackmore. An unusual competition is in store, with the bottom 6 teams being just a few games apart with a few games left. For the 4th straight year, your Butler Bulldogs will likely be in the 8-9 matchup versus Providence, taking place on March 12th to secure a spot in the quarterfinals against top-seeded St. John's. After a season full of highs and lows, Butler looks to finish the regular season strong with 1 game left and make a run at the Big East tournament. New staff member Jack McHugh gives us his expectations for the team going into the conference tournament.
Hopefully, we can draw Providence in the first round of the Big East tournament. It's a good matchup for us. We've beaten them once, and hopefully we can beat them again. We figured out how to guard their actions this time around, and after that, hopefully we can beat St. John's in the Garden and go to the semifinals. They got Xavier, rivalry game. You never know what could happen there. In the championship, we got Marquette or Creighton, and we match up well with both those teams. So I think we're going to make some things happen.
You can catch the Big East tournament on Peacock and FS1, tipping off at 4 o'clock Eastern on March 12th. Now let's take a look at one of the hottest conferences in college basketball this season, the SEC. Several other conference tournaments have already begun, and I'll be catching you up on all the action.
The top-seeded Lipscomb Bisons cruised to an 84-66 victory over the 10th-seeded Central Arkansas Bears Monday night. The Bison shot an incredible 51% from the field, which included 13 treys. 8 of those outside makes came from senior guard Joe Anderson, who had a career-high 28 points. The Bison's opponent is the 6th-seeded Queens Royals. The Charlotte, North Carolina school defeated the Florida Gulf Coast Eagles on the road in a nail-biter 71-65, advancing to the ASUN semifinals for the first time ever. The other semifinals sees 2nd-seeded North Alabama face 4th-seeded Jacksonville. North Alabama strolled to a comfortable 90-64 win over Austin Peay. Jakari Lane dropped 31 points for the Lions, one shy of his season and career high of 32 points. The last semifinalist is Jacksonville. They defeated Eastern Kentucky 78-67 in a show of true grit. The Dolphins were down by as many as 13 points late in the first half, but fought back through Robert McCray V's 26-point effort, with 16 of those points coming in the second half. Moving over to the Patriot League, its quarterfinals are now set. Loyola Maryland defeated Lehigh 77-73 on Tuesday night, securing the win with a layup and one by Braden Speed with 32.4 seconds to go. The 8th-seeded Greyhounds will head to Lewisburg, Pennsylvania to take on top-seeded Bucknell, former School of Butler center Andre Screen, and legendary Villanova coach Jay Wright. The other winner from Tuesday night, and by the narrowest of margins, was Lafayette College. The Leopards defeated the 10th-seeded Holy Cross Crusaders 69-68 with a pair of free throws by Caleb Williams with 4 seconds left. The Leopards will head to the nation's capital to take on the 2nd-seeded American Eagles. In the other 2 quarterfinals, Navy will head to the Northeast and attempt to sink the hopes of the Boston University Terriers. And Army will head to Hamilton, New York to take on the Colgate Raiders, who have won 5 of the last 6 Patriot League tournaments. Most other conferences with games today are at a neutral venue. These include the Sun Belt Conference in Pensacola, Florida, the Missouri Valley Conference in St. Louis, Missouri, the Summit League in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, the Ohio Valley Conference in Evansville, Indiana, and the West Coast Conference in Las Vegas, Nevada. The Big South, having played its opening round last night, will resume its action tomorrow in Johnson City, Tennessee. The last of the conferences that has started its postseason tournament is the Northeast Conference. The Central Connecticut State Blue Devils are the number 1 seed, sporting a 23-6 overall record and a 14-2 tally in conference play. A high seed is key in this tournament, with 4 of the last 6 champions coming from either the 1 or 2 seed. With the big dance just around the corner, all schools from these conferences will be looking to put themselves on the national radar.
That's it for this week's episode of The Bark. I'm Matthew Hoffman.
And I'm Ryan Eggert. We'll see you next time.